Hi, I'm Stacy Miller.
And I'm James Hogan, and this is the June 2025 edition of Western Wednesdays. Hi, I'm James Hogan. This is Western Wednesdays, the show where we talk to alumni who do really cool and fun and interesting things. With me, Stacy Miller, Director
there.
of Alumni Engagement. Yeah. Oh, it's good to be back in the we.
It's good to be back in the we in our studio. This is so fantastic.
It's so warm. It's not raining.
That's not true.
Well, it is raining outside, but it's not raining in here.
Oh, true. Okay.
And in case you're wondering what the heck we're talking about, golly, we just got in yesterday.
That's right.
From Washington, D.C. We were in the nation's capital visiting with all these cool alumni, these catamounts in the capital.
What a great trip.
It was a great trip. And we've got an episode today that is really special where we talk to Kinley Cook.
Kinley Cook, class of 24, so a brand new graduate into the Alumni Nation.
Gold alumna.
That's right. Graduate of the last decade,
yeah.
in case you're wondering what that means. Yeah. Kinley's a Parks and Rec Management major and really putting that degree to use right off the bat.
Working for the National Park Service, which is really, really crazy. Like she got the dream job.
She got the dream job, and I got to wear the dream park ranger hat.
You did. I did too.
Fun times.
We don't have a photo of it when I wore it, but but a really, really cool job. Kinley Cook working up in the capital area, and I loved her story about how she wasn't sure what to do. She wasn't sure if she was going to go to college. And then she finds her way here, and boy, does Kinley go all in on her student experience at Western.
Yeah, it's such a great story, and talking about how, her passion for people and for outdoors and bringing all of that together, with her educational piece in the Park Service.
This is the first of 3 interviews that we did in Washington, D.C. The others will space out a little bit, but we came back and we knew that this was the one we had to share first. So let's go ahead and let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Well, Kinley Cook, welcome to Western Wednesdays. We've had better weather for Western Wednesdays, but we are here at Rock Creek National Park, just outside of Washington, D.C. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you guys for having me. I'm super happy to be here. This weather is very reminiscent of Cullowhee. If you ask me, it reminds me of the temperate rainforest.
You know what we don't have with us today? Umbrellas. We screwed this up. Like, we should know better.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh my gosh. Well, tell us a little about this national park that we're sitting in.
So a lot of people don't realize, especially where we're from, where we have the Blue Ridge Parkway and the Great Smoky Mountains National Park right there, that there are actually over 430 national parks nationwide. And kind of worldwide too, because there's one in America Samoa, there's one in Puerto Rico. So there's a lot of national parks, but this park in particular was one of the first national parks established by Congress under Benjamin Harrison, actually.
Wow.
So kind of cool. So goes back that far, pre-1900. Really and truly, the third park, I think it was established with the same legislation, because all national parks are established by acts of Congress, which some people know, but a lot of people don't. And this was the third one established with Sequoia National Park. So kind of cool. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it does get close to home.
I was going to say, a lot of people think, national parks, they think Teddy Roosevelt, right? They think of that conservation movement, that kind of thing. So Benjamin Harrison.
Yeah.
The forgotten president, Benjamin Harrison.
The forgotten president.
Who we can thank for Rock Creek Park.
For sure.
Oh, my goodness. Well, tell us, Kinley, you are class of 2024. And so one of the few gold alumni that we've gotten a chance to interview on Western Wednesdays, one of the few graduates of the last decade. We want to definitely hear about your journey to WCU and sort of how you found your way to Cullowhee.
So it's a long story, so I'm glad we have time. So I graduated high school in 2016, which was about 10 years ago. I'm a gold alumni of my high school.
Just a little longer.
Hanging on.
Yes. So in high school, I really did not know what I wanted to do with my life. I knew what my interests were. I knew I loved being outside. I went to summer camp every summer. I loved hiking in the state parks near my house. But I had no direction beyond that. So my mom, my dad, my grandma, all pharmacists. My grandpa's an engineer. My great grandma was in the first nursing class at Duke. So I knew that I didn't want to do science in the way that they did science. I knew that I knew what I didn't want to do.
So you had a front seat to that.
Exactly. And then the other side of my family was in agriculture. And
Okay.
that interested me, but I didn't think I wanted to be a farmer. So straight out of high school, I actually remember this distinctly. I got a letter from Western because my GPA wasn't the best because I had a lot of health problems in high school. But my ACT scores were good. So after I took the ACT, a lot of colleges started sending me mail. And at this point, I had decided I was going to go to Ole Miss, but then I took a step back. That's where my dad went. I took a step back and was like, hey, that's a lot of money, and I don't have money. So I decided to not go to any university, and I decided to go to Wake Tech Community College. And I went there for 2 years, which was a great experience for me. But then I was like, you know what? So I took all these gen eds. I liked my communications class and I liked my science classes, but I didn't connect the dots that I could do it forever.
Yeah.
So I took 3 years off and worked at a summer camp in the summer and was nanny during the school year.
And this is in Raleigh.
So that was, I went to high school to Garner High School, so south of Raleigh. And then I moved to Eastern North Carolina after I started working at a summer camp.
Okay.
So the summer camp was towards the coast. And I would work in the summer and be like, wow, this is the best job on earth. Wish I could do this year round. And then would go nanny during the school year.
If only there was a way.
If only there was a way. And then
Camp.
eventually
Yeah.
I connected the dots
Yeah.
and was like, because I realized for me, camp wasn't sustainable. I am not good at I'm good at, when I'm on. But when I'm
Yeah.
off, I am off. And with summer camp, you have to be responsible for children 24/7. So eventually I was like, you know what? I am interested in public lands. So I started working at Goose Creek State Park, which is in Eastern North Carolina in Little Washington.
Yeah.
And I loved that experience. My boss, who hired me halfway through that summer, knew that I was looking to go to Western, and I got in right before she left, and she said, hey, whenever you get to Cullowhee, I'm transferring to Gorges State Park in Sapphire.
Yeah.
So she's like, if you need a job, I'll hire you. And then so after I came to Western, and then it's just evolved from there. And I worked there for 2 summers too. So yeah.
Did you? At Gorges?
I did.
my
I
gosh.
worked at Gorges so I worked at Goose Creek and then got into Western while I was there. Then after I transferred, I worked summer of 22 and summer before last, summer of 23 there. So
wow.
under the same boss, which is great. Melanie Briley, one of the best
That's
people I
awesome.
know. Yeah.
Well, it's nothing that we can hide your energy, right?
Yes.
We were telling Sam yesterday, like, be ready because here it comes. Like, we're going to be full of energy.
Oh,
but,
yes.
you took all of that energy with you to Cullowhee, North Carolina, and you made the most of it.
I
We
did.
talk about it like, but when Kinley got here, she knew she was going to maximize this moment,
yeah.
right? Talk a little bit about that. Share with everyone, what are some of the things that you did? You were in Greek life, CPC,
Yes.
you did all the
Yeah, you
things.
didn't just go to school.
Oh, no. I decided, you know what? Because again, I'd taken those 3 years off of school. So I was a little bit older. So believe it or not, I was nervous transferring. But I know, Kinley being nervous, this is crazy. But I was like, I'm so much older than everyone. Like, how am I going to make friends? How is this going to be something that is beneficial to me besides just getting a degree? And then I was like, you know what? So many things in college are free or low cost, especially at Western.
Yeah.
That I was like, I feel like it would be dumb of me to not take full advantage of everything that's presented to me.
Right.
I love salamanders. So even though I was a Parks and Rec major, I actually emailed my second week at Western. I emailed the herpetology professor at Western, Dr. Pesha, and I said, can I take a credit of biology research? I did salamander research.
Because why not?
Because why not?
Yes.
Because why not? Because why? Look, I joined a sorority, as you mentioned, and that's funny because, one, I thought my dad went to Ole Miss. I had a cousin in a sorority at Ole Miss, very different than the sororities at Western, but in the best way for me. Like, I love that our sororities are small. I was a member of Alpha Chi Omega. I am an alum of Alpha Chi Omega. I took full advantage of that. Everything was small. It was great. And the night before bid day, I actually was in the woods until 2 a.m. that morning doing salamander research.
What?
Yeah.
Where's Kinley? We need to give the bid.
Coming together.
Right.
I don't know. She's chasing lizards.
I don't know. She's in the woods. Like you mentioned, I was a member of the Catamount Philanthropy Council, which is actually how I know both of you, which is great.
Yes.
Which I became a part of through Kayla Botnick, who is now in a different division at Western, but she was an alum of Alpha Chi
I was gonna
Omega,
say,
and
Miss
that's
Alpha
how
Chi.
I know.
That's
That's
right.
how all of our connections came together.
Aw.
I mean, I was a board member for the Parks and Recreation Management Club. I decided that if I was going to go to college, I was going to go to college. And I tried to take advantage of everything. And I think in the long run, it really did end up benefiting me. I learned good people management skills.
Yeah.
Obviously boosted my resume, but all in all, I just enjoyed it. Like,
Yeah.
I just loved everything I was a part of. And I told myself that if I ever stopped loving a part of it, like wholeheartedly, I would stop doing it. And I never did. So yeah, so it was very easy for me to just, the things I started with were the things I stuck with. And I also think that was really cool and kind of unique as well. So
Yeah.
I can only imagine that you were the only Alpha Chi pledge playing with salamanders. Like,
one of the few, especially that weekend. Like, I was the only one in the woods that way.
and you know, like our region, Western North Carolina, like there's some really cool salamanders.
Salamander capital of
Absolutely.
the world.
Like-
More species than anywhere else. So that was
See?
just a plus.
There you
of
go.
going to Western.
Yeah, my kids love salamanders.
They're
Like
the best.
this is the coolest thing ever. So I imagine also too that you're out there doing field research in the woods. I mean, you've got so many different experiences.
Yeah.
But you know, tell us a story that really stands out still in your mind, a great memory of your time at Western.
I think one of my favorite memories at Western, it's hard to choose just one. And I think that's the hardest part is anyone who knows me knows I am such an ambassador for I love Western Carolina. And I think it was just because, well, I guess okay, let me give this story. The first time I stepped on Western's campus, I wasn't a student, wasn't looking at college. I'd actually kind of been it was after my first gap year, and me and my dad and my brother were staying in Franklin for Easter.
Okay.
And my dad was like, there's a college near here, like let's drive by. And I will never forget my first time going down South River Road in Webster. And I was like, this is the most beautiful place on earth.
Yes.
And I didn't know. Again, I
Yeah.
thought I had dropped out of school for good. I was like, I
Right.
don't know what I'm doing. I'm kind of just winging it. And I was like, oh, no, this is beautiful. And then I was just like, that's a cool place. Wish I could go there. Never really thought anything else of it. And then so I remember the first time stepping on campus as a student, I was like, oh, this is my home.
This is home.
Like, this is home. This feels right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think that's probably the Western memory. Like, that's how I knew that I had made the right choice. Because I was between Western and that other mountain school. And ended up choosing Western.
Threw up in my mouth a little.
I know. Oh, me too. Looking back retrospectively, I'm like, why did we even consider?
Yeah.
But
I love it.
know. I knew I'd made the right choice.
You know, you kind of confirm, right? Like Western prides itself, and we talk a lot about building a community around our students and providing opportunity and trying to truly build a network. And so you did that. And, you know, you sharing your stories about that are always so exciting to hear. Would you say there are skills or lessons you learned in your time in Cullowhee that help you where you are today? Because your journey wasn't just a straight path, right? You've kind of taken some twists and turns along the way at your own decision. But are there things you feel like you learned in Cullowhee?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. I think that, again, like I mentioned, I was so worried about being so much older. And while I wasn't so much as older as I was in my brain, I was older than a lot of my peers. And I think that being around so many people that were younger than me, they were just at different places in their lives than I was overwhelmingly.
Yeah.
And so I think that I've always been empathetic, but that gave me more empathy for the experiences of others, which I think is imperative, obviously.
Yeah.
On top of that, being involved in so much really honed in on my time management.
Oh, good.
Really honed in. Because I work in a
Sure.
job now where I'm doing something different every single day. Like the core of the job is the same, but I do a lot of different things for my job, and the time management is imperative. There's so much. I mean, in the Parks and Recreation Management program specifically, you take a lot of group dynamics classes. You take a lot of classes that are people management,
Right.
which has been extremely helpful. I lead a lot of field trips, so that's helpful for that. You also have to have a first aid certification, which
Sure.
thankfully I haven't had to use, but
Right.
just in general in life, that's a good thing to have. So many skills.
I can imagine too, like there's, I mean, maybe not here, but like if you're taking people out into the the great beyond, you got to be ready to deal with them, and not just like in an emergency situation, but you take people out of their comfort zone, and they get a little bit weird sometimes. They freak out. It's just the woods.
It's just rain.
It's just rain.
It's just rain.
It's okay. Oh my gosh. Kinley, was there a professor or staff member at Western during your time that stands out as an influencer in your life, or a mentor, somebody who helped guide you and put things together?
Yes, absolutely. And excited to talk about, because her name is Tanya Poole. So at the time, she was an adjunct instructor. She this past week was announced that she is now a full-time instructor in the Department of Parks and Recreation Management, which is super exciting. She's also a Western alum. So at the time that I had her and was her TA, she worked for the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. And so that was invaluable, because she obviously had this unique perspective of, I work full-time for a governmental agency that is in this space. And she specifically was the Project Wild coordinator. And what Project Wild is it is a program that teaches teachers how to teach their students about environmental education.
Oh, wow.
Right.
So that was she was training teachers to do basically what I do at my job in their classrooms, which was really neat. So she had this unique perspective of, hey, I'm an educator, but also I work for the government. And so that was really imperative.
Yeah.
A very phenomenal woman. And then two more, Becca Henderson. At first, and Becca's going to listen to this and laugh, I did not think Rebecca Henderson liked me at all. And yeah, I did not think she liked me at all. I was like, there's a lot going on here. It's okay.
Come on.
But Becca just knew I could be better. And so she pushed me to be better,
love that.
which I loved and I appreciated. She never let me slack off. Whenever I'd be like, hey, Becca, she'd be like, you can do better. Why are we not doing better? And I'm like, you know what? Great point. I can do better. I will do better. And the last professor that comes to mind immediately is Debbie Singleton.
Oh, yes.
Debbie Singleton.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the best. So I actually only had Debbie for one class, but after Debbie, because Debbie retired after my first year at Western, but I house sat for Debbie the years following. I mean, me and Debbie became friends, and that was really, really special to me as well. And that's something that's very unique about not only Western, but specifically the Parks and Recreation program at Western.
Yeah.
You are friends with your professor. I have never called a professor in that division doctor except for once, and they pretty much all have doctorates, and they all have master's degrees.
Right.
So I think that's like a very unique thing of like, hey, we're a community, we're a family. And like you're talking about tapping into that community aspect of being in Cullowhee, especially being in a field where, hey, we might be out in the woods. I've had class on so many days like this, and it's like, hey guys, we have to embrace the suckiness together. Like if we don't embrace the suck, like this is going to be the worst day of our lives. And we get to be outside, like we're lucky.
Right.
So let's reframe this. So it's just a very community.
That's what we said today. Like we couldn't have dialed up more WCU weather for today than what we got. So let's go.
Exactly.
How great though to have someone, going back to Becca, who you trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who clearly, I mean, you're a very likable person. Like that,
you.
but at the same time, who can push you?
Yes.
Who can appreciate you for
Yeah.
who you are, but also to say, this is where you are, and I need you to get here.
And I
Right,
need you to get there.
exactly.
Because
Yeah.
it would be,
Yes.
it's easy to get along with you. It would be easy to say, well, that's, that Kinley can just do that.
That's
Right.
Yeah.
She
And
knew
just
you
let you
could-
do what you maybe want to do in that minute.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
but for someone to see in you that, you've got an extra step.
Right.
And to push you to take that extra step.
Absolutely.
Even on the days you don't want to.
Yeah. And post grad as well. She has been like, oh my gosh, she has sung my praises to everyone that will listen.
my gosh.
And she was actually a park ranger in the Smokies for a little bit. So she understands and she knows that the position I got was very rare. It was a permanent position and those do not come around. And so she's just, she was like, Kinley, I knew you could do it and you got there. And it just took a little bit, but you got there. And yeah, so again, like just people who are willing to see you for who you are, for what you are,
Yeah.
and push you is the best.
So you kind of already took us there. We're going to dive right
It's a great
into
segue.
that, right, Kinley? You only graduated in 2024, and you have already landed what most people in this industry would deem a dream job. So, what does that look like, right? Like, is this a dream job for you, and how did this happen?
Oh, this is a dream job for me. And even the logistics of that are kind of funny as well. So again, my start in public lands was with North Carolina State Parks. Before starting my job with State Parks, I thought about national parks. I really loved Cape Lookout growing up. I loved, and
gosh.
What's
that's
not
a
to
national
love?
park.
What a
Exactly,
place.
a beautiful place. And so I was like, you know what? I think I would like to work in a place like this. But whenever I started working for state parks, that became my goal because I was like, oh, again, another reason I chose Western over the other mountain school is it's a smaller school. And I love, again, I call my professors by their first
right.
names. They all know who I am very intimately. Like it's the best.
Yeah.
Loved it. And the same thing was true with state parks. Like I mentioned, we have over 430 national parks. There are only 44 state parks. There probably are a few more now, but over 40 state parks in North Carolina. So I was like, I loved the small aspect. I loved that I would get to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And also I knew how hard it is to get a permanent job with the National Park
Yeah.
Service. So to put that into perspective, most people have to work at least 4 to 5 seasons with the National Park Service to get a permanent job. You have to put your time in. And that's just because of governmental hiring. There's a lot of different hoops you have to jump through. I was hired through a program called the Pathways Program, and it's a federal government program that basically provides a pathway to federal employment for college students or sometimes high school students, trade school students. So I got really lucky, right place, right time, and it is a dream job. Like I was born to be a park ranger. I think sometimes, what else would I do? And I'm like, come up empty. I have no idea. I definitely am exactly where I need to be. I could talk to Mountain
And you
Park.
get to wear a pretty cool hat
I
every
do.
day.
I
James
get
and
to
I
wear
are
the
jealous
best
of
hat.
Is it
that.
time? Is it time to look at it?
You guys should try it on.
I mean,
Try
it
it
is.
on.
I have to just. I can't. Is it legal for you?
Yeah,
to put
yeah, you
this
can
on?
put it on.
It's so beautiful. A U.S. NPS hat. It is.
Don't you feel official?
I do. Like I got an inch taller
Yeah,
when I
you
put this
did.
on. It is.
Yeah, you did.
It is. Oh, I love it. I
You
love
try it on, Stacey.
All right.
Come on, you
Here we
got
go.
it.
Oh, you can.
You look sharp. You look sharp.
You can bounce somebody now
Oh yeah.
with that hat on.
Oh yeah.
I gotta
mean
tell you.
I'm loving it.
business.
You know, I'm sitting up tall today. I got a
See?
cool hat on
There you
now.
go.
Day's
Look at that.
complete.
There you go.
Kinley's gonna need that back.
Yeah,
So-
I unfortunately do have to take that back
Oh,
whenever
my
I go
gosh.
to Thermont.
I love it.
So, I love this because, and we've had other episodes too where we've talked to alumni who have just had this great serendipity. But at the same time, I like to say too, it's not just that the universe just
Right.
opens everything. I mean,
No.
you have to be in the right place at the
You
right
do.
time. You have to do the work.
You have to do the work.
You have to do the
Yeah.
work to get there. You have to be Kinley Cook to get there. So like, I know that you appreciate the opportunity that you just happen to have gotten into, and you're taking full advantage of it. There's no doubt about that. Tell us what there can't be 2 days that are exactly alike
No.
as a park ranger.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially, like when you are getting up in the morning going to work, how do you prepare? What's a day in the life of Kinley Cook?
Sure. So,
Sorry, is it
At its
Ranger
core-
Cook?
it's Ranger Kinley is what I call myself.
Ranger
I could
Kinley.
be
That's
Ranger
fantastic.
Cook, but
All
yeah.
right.
So
Ranger
it's very
Kinley.
fun. It's
Ranger
one of my
Kinley.
favorite titles. So my job description. So I was talking to you guys a little bit before the episode about the different types of park rangers. So I am an interpretation and education ranger. And a lot of people hear interpretation and think I speak another language. I don't. Wish I did. That would be really fun, but I do not. So basically my job as an interpretation ranger is to interpret the resources of my park, which right now is Catoctin Mountain Park, to interpret those resources to the general public.
Okay.
So my job is to connect you with the history, with the resource, with the land, with the recreational opportunities that we have in our park. So that's, again, the core of my job. And now, as far as duties go, I work in our park visitor center. I get to connect. Not only do I have a beautiful office, an outdoor office, but I also get to connect with people. Like whether it's just, okay, hey, I need a map. I don't know
Right.
where I'm going.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of people from DC that come to our park because for a lot of people, it's the closest they can get to home with the prettiest views.
Okay.
Because we
Oh.
are in the mountain. My name
Yeah.
of my park is Catoctin Mountain Park. We're actually the furthest eastern mountain on the Blue Ridge. So it's kind of fun that
Really?
we're still part of the
Wow,
same chain.
Yes.
But yeah.
my goodness.
It's really, really neat. So
So we're technically still connected by mountains, is what you're telling me.
isn't that cool? That's what I
That's
tell people
pretty
all the time.
fantastic.
I'm like, I'm
You're
just on the
still
other side of the
connected.
Blue Ridge. Don't worry
That's right.
about
The
it.
way other side of the Blue Ridge.
Other
Yeah.
side.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so it's really cool to be the first face that people see.
And a
And
wide variety of people, too.
Wide variety of people, and it's the best. It's
And
the
you're
best.
bringing back in that summer camp feel.
Exactly.
A little
Yeah.
bit,
Yes.
right? Like in those moments, when we were messaging
Uh-huh.
yesterday and you were doing field
A
trip
field
stuff.
trip, yeah.
And that's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Because you're getting that educational piece that you love.
Right.
And to bring out all that energy and share all of that knowledge and your love for
Right.
national parks with all of those kids. And I
Exactly.
feel like I needed that. I needed a Ranger Kinley
Yeah.
when
Wow.
I was visiting state parks as a
Yeah.
kid, right? Like
Yes.
someone who's full of energy, but all this knowledge too.
Exactly. And that's my favorite thing is my brother actually is coming to Western in August.
Get
and
outta here.
I know, it's not the best.
Oh,
and so
I'm
it's
so
gonna be another
excited.
cook.
That's awesome.
But he actually will be a natural resources management major and he wants to do more of the sciencey behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
My favorite part is that I get to take the stuff that I understand that maybe the general public doesn't understand and make it digestible for
Yeah.
them. That's my favorite part. And I get to also instill in them this love of recreation.
Yeah.
This love of history. Because fun fact about my park, Camp David is within the confines of my park.
Oh, my gosh.
So there's
Wow.
a lot of history.
Wow.
Like
Yeah,
I
there's-
get to be like, guys, you guys are fishing in the same creek that FDR and Winston Churchill fished in. You guys are walking along the same road that
Wow.
Jimmy Carter ran a 5K on. Like it's really cool.
Oh my
that,
Some
like,
goodness.
stuff has
all of this-
happened
yeah,
over here.
things
Like,
have
this
happened
is-
here. Things
know.
have happened here.
Hair flip.
Yeah,
but-
exactly. So it's really cool to be able to connect people to those cool stories.
I
That
love
is
that too
awesome.
because it's easy to take for granted. It is easy to take for granted where you live, especially when you're not thinking about
Yes.
it. Like
Right.
if-
Oh yeah.
even when I was in college, I didn't have the same appreciation for living in Jackson County
Oh, yeah.
as I do now as working
Yeah.
for it. And one of the things that took time to develop was this appreciation for the history of the place, for the deep cultural aspects of the place.
Yeah.
And I love that your job is to interpret that.
Right.
It at first when you said that, I thought, well, that's an interesting verb.
Uh-huh.
But you're translating it to them in a
Right.
way that really allows them to say, this is our country.
Right. Uh-huh.
These are our parks.
Like these parks belong to you. I always make sure to remind people that like you own this park as much as I do. Like yes, I work here and this is my workplace, but like
Yeah.
this belongs to you. This belongs to our country. This belongs
Yeah.
to us. So
And somebody before us decided it was so important
Right.
to protect this.
This place was special enough
Yeah.
that literally an act of Congress had to be passed in order for this place to be protected. So it's really cool, and it's
That
kind of
is.
it's very sobering to think about
Yeah.
whenever you really dive into it.
So you are in interpretation and education. What are some of the other areas of park ranger?
Yes. So there's law enforcement. So all of our law enforcement rangers at our park go through an academy called FLETC, which actually is really interesting because I think 3 out of the 5 rangers at our park actually did their FLETC, their law enforcement courses at Southwestern Community College. So that
my
is
gosh.
one.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is one of the few places.
Way
that
to go,
has
SCC.
This, yeah, I was about to say. So a little
Wow.
SCC shout out. They have a law enforcement academy for park rangers there because of the
I did not know
proximity
that.
to the
Yes,
Of course.
Smokies
right. Sure.
and
Makes
Blue Ridge
sense.
Parkway.
Of course.
So it makes sense. So there's law enforcement rangers. There's natural resource rangers. There's cultural resource rangers. There's interpretation and education. Our park is also kind of unique. We have a cabin camps division that we run ourselves. So we have rangers that work in fees for that. There's so
That's
many
so
different,
neat.
and that's just scratching the
Yeah,
surface.
right.
Like there's
Right.
so many
Oh.
more too, depending on the park. Like, I mean, you have rangers that focus only on history. Like, for example, Gettysburg National Military Park is less than 30 minutes
Yeah.
from where I live. And yeah, I mean, they focus primarily on history, but
Yeah.
they also have biologists
Right.
and biotechs and
They're
all
all
of the
so
things that we have.
different.
Right, exactly.
And unique. And
unique.
that is what's super cool.
Absolutely.
So Kinley, like, how much did you have to learn about your national park coming to work, or before you got your job, or
Yeah.
as you got your job there?
So I kind of got to cheat a little bitty bit because since the ecology is still that Appalachian ecology, that Blue Ridge ecology, a lot of things were the same.
Oh,
so
gosh.
there were some things that were different. Obviously, like Western North Carolina, the elevation is higher, so there are more. It's more prime for salamander species. There are
Right.
different species of trees, different species of ferns, things like that. But the basics are the same.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to be able to just kind of jump into that. The stuff that I did have to learn more about, I had no, like, I understood what the Civil War was.
Right.
Right.
I love history, but I didn't know. I did not know much about it.
Yeah, particularly from the local
Right.
point of view.
Exactly.
Right.
From the
Right.
local point of view,
What
and
happened
also
here.
with Gettysburg being there, with
Yeah.
Antietam, which was,
Right.
the bloodiest day in American history. All of those things being right there, I had to learn more about Civil War history because going from the Maryland area to Gettysburg, it's called the Maryland Campaign. I had no knowledge of that. I had to learn that, hey, like there actually were Union troops that were marching through our park
Right.
in order to get
To get- yes.
Gettysburg.
Right.
Right.
Because
I
those
don't
are the
know that.
finite details that,
Right.
North Carolina history.
That we would
didn't
have
get.
never
Yeah, we
learned
didn't get that
about,
in
really.
Raleigh. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. I had to learn a lot of presidential history about Camp David
Yeah.
because, who knew? I didn't know that, like a lot of people don't know, that Camp David was in a national park. I didn't know it was still an active military base. I knew none of these things. So I had to learn all of this in order to be able to interpret that to the public.
Right.
But as far as like the ecology, my background, again, I really lucked out being able to just be like, hey, this is what I know. I'm pretty familiar with a lot of these
Yeah.
species. This is great. So,
Are there salamanders in your park?
oh, there are salamanders in my park. And I get so excited every time I find them, which is
Oh,
the
my
best.
gosh.
And there's also fly fishing in our park. So a lot
Oh,
of things that are
neat.
similar to Western North
Yeah.
Carolina. So our park actually has the first designated fly fishing stream in Maryland. So it's really cool that like that's such a shared history with my existing background.
That's right.
So-
And back to that day that you took South River Road.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I got to tell you, I've had that same exact experience
Yeah.
where you're coming around the bend
Yeah.
and the Tuckasegee is so
Oh,
wide and
yes.
flat and the water's running.
and you see people fishing, you see kids playing, and it's just
It's like a movie.
It
Yeah.
is.
It's like a movie.
Is.
And
a river runs through
I was
it.
gonna
Is what
say,
I
it's-
see
that's
every,
exactly
every
what I was-
time.
Yeah.
And like, so I just want to apologize to Dale Collins because I'm wearing my fly fishing shirt. I am not a fly fisherman. Dale knows this better than anybody. Dale runs Tuckasegee fly fishing. And it's like, This is actually the 4th national park that this shirt has been to.
Wow.
So thank you for
It's
giving
World Traveler.
It's working on it. So
Like Flat Stanley.
I mean,
That's funny.
flat
That's funny that
Stanley.
you bring that up. So one of my duties for the park is to run our social media. And so what I
No.
did, I had a flat Ranger that I took. I went to go see, so my grandparent, my papa lives in northern Mississippi. I drove all the way down and stopped at a lot of different park sites and took a picture with the flat Ranger at every
my
site.
gosh.
Yeah.
That is
So that's
awesome.
funny you bring that up.
it's going to to be my next follow on Instagram.
You
so
should.
That's right.
At Catoctin NPS.
Okay.
Follow me.
Love
You
it.
heard it here first.
So, Kinley, you've shared a lot about, about your current job and your current situation. You've checked a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
So, what's this look like going forward? Like, where does this take you?
Yeah.
And I mean, you've just gotten here, so we're not
Right.
trying to rush you along,
Yes.
right? But just curious, like, as you look ahead, where's this take you?
Yeah. So right now, like I said, interpretation and education ranger. I would love to be the chief of an interpretation and education division one day. I think that'd be really cool. Maybe I'll be the superintendent of a park. I don't know. Maybe. Depends. It's actually really funny too that people always are like, oh, what's next? Like Yosemite, Yellowstone, like
Yeah.
where are you headed next? I am an East Coast girl through and through, specifically Southeast. I don't think I will really go north of Maryland, probably.
We're no ranger talks in the snow. Like there are
yeah.
fewer ranger talks
People
in the snow.
shivering.
Right.
We do have a parka
Right.
and a nice little hat that we can wear.
Yeah.
I prefer to not wear the parka and the nice little hat. I like this hat quite fine.
Right. No fur.
But I think that I do. I love our parks. I believe in our parks. I want to stay with the parks as long as I can. And one day I would love to be an adjunct professor too. I think
Oh
that
my
would be really
gosh.
fun because my
Oh.
adjunct meant so much to me.
Right.
And I
That
do. I
full
love
circle.
educating people. Yeah. And I love the non-formal education that I do every single day. But I also really gained so much from my experience at Western that I do want to give back in that way. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Kinley, I know that you are a gold alumna of WCU. And so I usually ask this question to people who have been out of college for a lot longer. But if you could go back and find yourself 10 years ago as you're graduating high school, not sure what you want to do,
Yeah.
you know what you love, but you know it's not going to be pharmacy or farming. What would you do if you could go back and find yourself and give yourself a piece of advice?
I think I would tell myself that it is okay. Like, just, you're going to be fine. It's okay. Like I said, my dad went to Ole Miss. My mom went to Carolina. They went to these big, huge name schools that are renowned for pharmacy. And so I held myself to that standard, even though I knew I don't want to be a pharmacist,
Right.
but I need to go to the UNC Chapel Hill. I need to go to the Ole Miss. And that would not have worked for me. I would not have
Right.
succeeded in the way I have succeeded in my field if I would have done those things. So just reminding myself that it's okay. It's okay to take your own path. It's okay that you don't have it figured out at the ripe age of 18. Like it's kind of wild that we expect people to know exactly what they're going to do at 18.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would just tell younger Kinley that, hey, you're going to figure it out. And it's okay if you don't have it figured out. You'll figure it out along the way.
Kinley, I want you to know that Western is so proud of you. And thank you for spending time with us out here in the cold and in the rain.
And on that note, to pouring back into the place
Always.
Yes.
that loves you so good.
Yes, together we embrace the suck today.
That's right.
We do. We embrace the suck.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Like, it's
Yeah.
fine. But Kinley, seriously, thank you so much for the time. It was great to
Yeah.
have you with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Stacey, I just can't believe we recorded an episode in a national park. We were in Rock Creek National Park, by the way,
That's
as
right.
we talked about, in a pouring rain. It was cold. You had to sit on like a gear case,
Yeah.
and Kinley got us through it.
We
And
dialed up perfect Cullowhee weather and
Any-
took it right up to DC with it.
any other guest, it would not have been
Nah.
as fun. It would not have worked. I don't know if you could hear it in the cut that Sam put together, the barking dog, the people who had to take shelter under the picnic shelter. We didn't talk about it in the episode, but like it was pouring buckets.
I tell you, nature calls sometimes and you just got to go with it.
You just got to run with it. What a heck of a conversation. Kinley, thank you for the time. I was thrilled, and thank you again for bringing the hat. I am so excited. Tomorrow night, Ballparks and Brews Part 4?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
We're almost through it.
It's flown by. We've sold out every alumni night with the fill in the blank at each stop. So
Charlotte
it's been really
Knights
exciting.
tomorrow night. I hope to see you in the Queen City
That's
if you
right.
can make it. And if you haven't gotten your ticket, I'm sorry. But we're going to have a great time.
You can join us in Spartanburg.
You can join us in Spartanburg
Short
with the
drive.
Spartan Burgers just down I-85. If that's your idea of a good time. Spartan Burgers is going to be on June 13th.
That's right.
Hub City Spartan Burgers. And a great time, too. Like, I keep hearing good things about the Spartan Burgers. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be neat. It's their first season. So we're going to be a part of, a fresh start for them.
Yes.
And that's exciting.
After that,
to see that.
we'll put a pin in it. If you didn't get your koozie, you're going to have to wait until next season when we do Ballparks and Brews 2026.
2026. Brand new stops. We'll see where we go.
I'm going to leave the country for a little bit, and then I'm going to come back, and we're going to send off some new students.
We're going to welcome some new students. I guess.
They're
We're going to
called
send
new
them off
student
from there.
send-offs,
That's
yes.
right. Yeah. So
New
we're
student
excited.
send-offs. And if you haven't heard of new student send-offs, these are really not for you alumni. They're for our new students. We go around the state. We go down to Atlanta. We put together some great events to welcome our new Catamounts and to teach them a little bit about what it means to be an alumnus of WCU.
That's right. Welcome them to the family. And so we're excited. I think it's a special tradition that we have here at Western, and it seems to be well received, and always love that opportunity to get in front of our incoming cats.
I don't think I need too many practice runs, but I'll work on the fight song and
do
the
that.
alma mater because that's my job as I show up and teach these young people about singing the special songs.
Yeah. Talking about upcoming year, if you haven't joined the Catamount Club or renewed your Catamount Club membership, June is the month to do that. That's the last call, so to speak. So don't miss out on a chance to become a member of the Catamount Club or renew your Catamount Club membership.
I could not agree more. CatamountClub.wcu.edu. It's an easy couple of clicks to get there to renew your membership. Guys, our student athletes just absolutely phenomenal. We've got great seasons ahead. Football season tickets still on sale. Come join us. The home opener is going to be really fun. Labor Day weekend. It's going to be a night game. We're going to have fireworks. You want to be there. And if you want a good parking spot, you're going to be in the Catamount Club too.
right.
So give them a call. Go to catamountclub.wcu.edu and back the cats.
Back the Cats season tickets.
Season tickets.
Go ahead and pile it on and add that with it. Yeah.
And plan some weekends in Cullowhee because we've got some great ones.
See some Catamount football, Catamount soccer, volleyball, and that Pride of the Mountains marching
Pride of the
band.
Mountains Marching Band.
Can't wait to see this year's show.
Oh, it's going to be great.
be great.
It's going to be so high energy and whew, as we talked with Matt Henley about, full band. Like they can't put any more people in that marching band. So, well, thank you, Stacy, for keeping up with us in Washington D.C. and enduring the cold and the rain because I know that's not your favorite.
All right. Thanks to Sam Wallace for making the trek with us to let us do that and for always being so supportive and producing this for us.
And putting up with us. Oh my gosh. And thank you for listening and watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, share these episodes far and wide with your Catamount Network. And all of you Parks and Rec management folks out there. What a great, great program. I learned a lot from Kinley. So thanks again for listening. And as always, go Cats.